So friends, we continue to keep the track on the news and events on the front lines of Ukraine and Russia. And today some experts have already reported that Ukrainian forces have started to deploy reserves and more equipment for offensive actions. And as a result, there have been new advancements made by Ukrainian troops. But I will provide more details on this later. Meanwhile, the occupiers, upon witnessing the successes of the Ukrainian armed forces, have resumed bombing Ukraine, mainly targeting the western part where equipment supplies are being sent. They seem to be afraid of hitting Poland despite their claims. However, in the western part of Ukraine, they continue to show aggression, as yesterday there were reports of explosions in Zhytomyr region, Khmelnytsky region, and Lviv region. Overall, 36 various types of cruise missiles have been destroyed throughout Ukraine. But before we move on to the front overview, I kindly ask you to like and subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. And returning to the front line, the Ukrainian forces are successfully advancing in the Vuhledar direction. There are ongoing battles for Staromayorske in the vicinity of Velika Novosilka. By gaining control of this area, the Ukrainian forces open up more prospects for further advancements, and the first line of defense of the occupiers is gradually weakening, and the liberation of the village is just a matter of time, since parts of it are already under Ukraine's control. In the Zaporizhia direction, according to various reports from experts and Russians themselves, the Ukrainian forces have launched an offensive with a significant number of reserves and hundreds of armored vehicles. As of now, no specific progress has been reported and battles are being recorded near Robotyne. However, this information is not yet official. And some maps show the situation as of yesterday, indicating that the Ukrainian forces are advancing closer to Verbovy with a considerable amount of heavy equipment, and we are waiting for official confirmation. In the Kherson direction, the situation remains stable with no changes along the front line. The occupiers continue their shelling, but the Ukrainian forces respond with fire against their positions. In the Avdiivka direction, attacks along the entire front line stopped yesterday evening. Even in Marinka, there are only shelling reports, and the occupiers decided to regroup after a failed attempt to advance. In the Bakhmut direction, there is success on the side of the Ukrainian forces. The clearance of Andriivka and Klishchiivka continues. Further north efforts are being made to cut off the flanks, and battles are ongoing in the area of Berkhivka and Blagodatne. However, there have been no changes along the front line in the past 24 hours. In the Kreminna area, the Russians faced a setback in their offensive operation to capture Serebryanka. The Ukrainian forces managed to suppress their potential before they reached the village. In the Svatovo area, after yesterday's Russian advancement of about 1.5 kilometers, no new attacks have been reported, and only shelling is happening, and the front line remains unchanged. Similarly, in the Dvorichna area, shelling continues, but no offensive actions have been taken, and the front line remains unchanged. And today it was reported that Russian forces are now using ammunition produced in Burma. Recently, Russian weaponry included Burmese 120 ER mortars with a caliber of 120 mm HE. Previously, there were no reports of ammunition being transported from Burma to Russia. And meanwhile, the New York Times published an interesting article in which it was revealed that Ukrainian officials have informed the US government about the main direction of the Ukrainian counteroffensive. According to the publication, Ukrainian officials have told US officials that reinforced Ukrainian formations will attempt to advance southward through Russian minefields and other fortifications to reach the city of Tokmak and, if successfully, Melitopol. Their goal is to disrupt the so-called land bridge between the Russian-occupied Ukrainian territories and the Crimean Peninsula, or at least advance for enough to put the strategically important peninsula within range of Ukrainian artillery. The publication notes that Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and uses it as a base for its Black Sea Fleet and to supply its forces in the south. Ukrainian officials in Washington say that the new defense operation, if successful, could take from 1 to 3 weeks. However, since the start of the counteroffensive in early June, little has gone according to plan, and officials in the White House and Pentagon say they are closely monitoring the increased activity with great interest. And returning to the topic of yesterday's episode, experts from the Institute for the Study of War suggest that Russia is unlikely to be able to implement a blockade of the Black Sea. As I reported yesterday, Russian forces are preparing ships in the Black Sea to block Ukraine. A complete Russian blockade of Ukraine in the Black Sea would mean that Russian forces could open fire on any ships attempting to reach Ukraine. And according to experts, Russia is unlikely to try to implement such a full blockade to avoid provoking a military conflict with the coastal countries of the Black Sea, including NATO members Romania, Bulgaria, and Turkey. Meanwhile, Russian occupiers will prohibit civilian access to the Arabat Spit from the evening of July 31st, citing the need to localize the security threat to the occupied Crimea. It is reported that the Crimean occupation headquarters, headed by Russia-appointed head of the peninsula Serhiy Aksyonov, approved the decision to stop issuing passes to the Arabat Spit to civilians from 8 p.m. on July 31st. Only emergency service personnel of the occupiers and citizens involved in defensive works and disaster response will be allowed onto the spit. It was also reported today that the Russian FSB prevented a terrorist act on a ship of the Black Sea Fleet with precision missile weapons. According to the agency, a Russian serviceman recruited by Ukrainian special services were detained, and with the two homemade explosive devices weighing a total of 1 kilogram of TNT were confiscated from him. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.